Just a quick wriggle and a push, and here you are, born smack dab in the pitch-black world of a hyena den. The first thing you realize is that life doesn't start with a bang or applause. It starts with a blind stumble in the dark. You've been unceremoniously plopped into a tiny underground chamber where you can't see a thing, and the only sound is the muffled giggling of your fellow newborns. But hey, at least it's warm in here and you're not alone. That's got to count for something, right? Before you even get a chance to gather your bearings, instincts kick in. You start rooting around blindly, bumping into soft, wiggling shapes, your siblings. It's not exactly a Hallmark family moment. Each nudge and shove is a tiny declaration of war. You're not here to make friends, you're here to survive. Somewhere in the darkness, you manage to latch onto the milk tap that is your mom. Jackpot! But don't get too comfortable. There's only so much milk to go around, and everyone else wants their share. Welcome to life as a hyena cub, where sibling rivalry isn't just a phase, it's a survival tactic. Now let's talk about your mom for a second. She's not just any hyena, she's the queen of the clan, the alpha female, the big boss. That means you've hit the jackpot in the hierarchy lottery. Her position guarantees you a head start in life. She'll protect you fiercely, making sure no predator gets within sniffing distance of this den. But don't think that means she's all warm hugs and cuddles. Hyena moms are tough as nails, and affection is not part of the job description. Her main priority? To keep you alive. And sometimes that means tough love. While you're busy figuring out how to hold your own against your siblings, let's address the elephant, or should we say, the hyena, in the room, your anatomy. Both male and female hyena cubs are born with something that looks like a pseudo-penis. It's nature's strange design choice, and it doesn't make life any easier. For females, it's not just a quirk, it's a challenge they'll face their entire lives, especially when it comes to something as simple and critical as giving birth. But you're not worried about that right now. Your main focus is milk and figuring out how to navigate this dark, crowded den. As the days pass, the den begins to feel less like a cozy home and more like a battleground. Sibling rivalry kicks into high gear, and it's brutal. Forget the playful nudges you see in puppies or kittens. Hyena cubs take sibling competition to a whole new level. The stronger ones fight for dominance from day one, biting, shoving, and even wrestling each other to the ground. It's not about being mean, it's about survival. The stronger cubs get the lion's share, pun intended, of the milk, while the weaker ones often get left behind. It's a harsh reality, but hey, that's life in the animal kingdom. Before we continue with the video and my further explanation about the problems with the hyena, I want to ask for your help. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs within a month, so I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and help me out. Okay, let's continue. One day, after what feels like an eternity in the darkness, something changes. A tiny ray of light sneaks into the den as your mom pokes her head in. It's your first glimpse of the outside world, and curiosity sparks. The den is safe, sure, but what's out there? You take your first tentative steps toward the entrance, your wobbly legs struggling to hold you up. The ground feels strange under your tiny paws, but the fresh air is invigorating. For a brief moment, everything seems exciting and full of possibilities. But then, just as you're starting to feel brave, reality hits. The outside world is not the playground you imagined. It's a minefield of dangers. Lions, leopards, and wild dogs are all out there, waiting for a chance to turn a careless hyena cub into an easy meal. Even within your own clan, life isn't a cakewalk. Hyena society is built on a strict hierarchy, and everyone has their place. If your mom is high-ranking, congratulations, you'll have an edge. If not, well, good luck. Every meal, every interaction, every moment is a battle to prove your worth. As days turn into weeks, you start to grow stronger. Your wobbly legs gain stability, and your once closed eyes finally open to reveal a world that's both awe-inspiring and terrifying. You venture a little further from the den each day, sticking close to your mom and siblings. The first few times you hear a lion's roar in the distance, your instincts scream at you to bolt back into the den. But as time goes on, you learn to distinguish between immediate threats and distant dangers. Survival isn't just about strength, it's about smarts too. Now let's talk about food. Sure, mom's milk was great, but it's not going to last forever. Eventually, you'll have to graduate to solid food, and in a hyena clan, that means scavenging. Your first taste of meat might come from a leftover lion kill or scraps your mom brings back to the den. It's not exactly gourmet, but it gets the job done. Watching the adults tear into a carcass is both fascinating and a little intimidating. They rip and chew with a ferocity that makes you wonder if you'll ever be strong enough to join in. But for now, you're still a cub, and the den remains your safe haven. Nights are spent huddled together with your siblings, listening to the distant howls of other predators. It's in these quiet moments that you realize just how precarious your place in the world is. Out there, it's survival of the fittest, and every day is a test. But here, in the warmth of the den, you have a chance to grow, to learn, and to prepare for the challenges that lie ahead. As the first weeks of your life draw to a close, you've already faced more obstacles than most humans will in their entire childhood. You've battled siblings, braved the outside world, and learned the first rules of survival in a society that demands toughness. It's a harsh start, no doubt, but it's also the foundation for the life of a hyena. The question is, will you rise to the challenge, or will the pressures of this brutal existence prove too much? Only time will tell. Life outside the den isn't all fresh air and adventure. It's a battlefield. By the time you're a few months old, the cozy darkness of the den is a distant memory. You've been promoted to full-time member of the clan, which sounds exciting, except it comes with a crash course in survival that's anything but gentle. The first lesson? Nobody cares how cute you are anymore. Whether it's your older clanmates, a prowling lion, or even the scorching sun, everything is trying to remind you that the world is not your friend. Your first hurdle comes with feeding time. Remember how competitive it was in the den? Well, now it's an all-out war. Picture this. A fresh kill lies in the middle of a chaotic circle of snapping jaws, growls, and flying bits of fur. You might think being a cub means you get special treatment, but nope. There's no kids' menu in hyena society. You've got to muscle your way in and grab whatever scraps you can before the bigger, stronger hyenas shove you out. It's messy, brutal, and loud. A real free-for-all that makes every bite taste like victory. If you think being part of the clan would give you some sense of camaraderie, think again. Hyena society operates on a rigid hierarchy, and every member knows their place. The alpha female, your mom if you're lucky, calls the shots. Beneath her are the other high-ranking females, then the males, and finally, the lowest of the low, the young and unimportant. As a cub, you're at the bottom of the pecking order, which means you'll be the first to get bullied out of a meal and the last to get any sympathy when times are tough. The adults don't make it any easier. Sure, they'll tolerate your presence, but they're not going to go out of their way to help you. If anything, they'll make sure you know your place with the occasional nip or shove. At first, it feels unfair. You're just a kid after all. But then you start to realize that this tough love is teaching you a valuable lesson. In the wild, nobody's going to hand you anything. If you want to survive, you've got to fight for it. And then there's the constant looming threat of predators. Lions are the worst. They're bigger, stronger, and frankly, they don't think much of hyenas. If they catch you alone, you're as good as dinner. Even when you're with the clan, the sight of a lion pride on the horizon is enough to send shivers down your spine. But it's not just lions. Leopards, wild dogs, and even crocodiles are waiting for you to make one wrong move. It's a miracle you even have time to breathe with all these dangers lurking around. But you know what you do have time for? Subscribing to our channel, so go ahead and do that. Despite the chaos, there are moments of learning and growth. You start to pick up on the rhythms of hyena life, the night hunts, the midday naps, the subtle signals that pass between clan members. You watch the adults closely, imitating their movements and trying to decipher their calls. It's like learning a new language, one where a single whoop or giggle can mean the difference between a warning and an invitation. But the challenges don't stop there. As you grow older, the dynamics within the clan begin to shift. The cub hierarchy you once battled for gives way to a more complex social order. For males, this means preparing for the day you'll leave the clan altogether. Female-dominated clans don't have much room for grown males, so once you hit adolescence, you'll be gently but firmly shown the door. This isn't just a goodbye, it's the start of a long, lonely journey to find a new clan willing to accept you. For females, growing up within the clan isn't exactly a cakewalk either. Sure, you get to stay, but staying comes with its own set of challenges. You'll spend your adolescence figuring out your place in the female hierarchy, which often means facing off against older, stronger rivals. Dominance isn't just about brute strength. It's about strategy, persistence, and knowing when to back down and when to push forward. It's exhausting, but there's no other way to climb the ranks. Meanwhile, your body is changing in ways you never expected. Remember that quirky pseudo-penis? Yeah, it's starting to cause some serious problems. For males, it's an awkward inconvenience, but for females, it's downright dangerous. When the time comes to give birth, that little anatomical oddity becomes a major obstacle, making what should be a natural process incredibly risky. But that's a problem for future you. Right now, you're just trying to survive the present. As you approach adolescence, you start to notice the world in a new way. The things that once scared you, lions, rival clans, even the snarling dominance of your elders, don't seem quite as terrifying anymore. You've learned how to read the signs, how to avoid trouble before it finds you. You've also grown stronger, faster, and more confident. Sure, you're still at the bottom of the adult pecking order, but you're not a helpless cub anymore. One day you find yourself standing at the edge of your clan's territory, staring out at the unknown. If you're a male, this is your first taste of independence. It's a bittersweet moment. The clan, for all its chaos and cruelty, was your home. Leaving it means stepping into a world where you're truly on your own. You'll spend the next few years wandering, scavenging, and fighting for scraps, all while searching for a new clan to call home. For females, the challenges are just beginning. Adolescence is a time of testing, a period where you'll prove whether you have what it takes to rise through the ranks or whether you'll spend your life at the bottom. It's a brutal process, filled with fights, alliances, and endless power struggles. But if you can endure it, if you can outsmart and outlast your rivals, you might just secure a place of power within the clan. No matter your path, one thing is clear. Growing up as a hyena is not for the faint of heart. Every day brings new challenges, new dangers, and new lessons. But it also brings strength, resilience, and a deep understanding of what it takes to survive in a world that seems designed to test you at every turn. As the sun sets on your adolescent years, you can't help but feel a small sense of pride. You've made it this far, and that's no small feat. The day you finally graduate to adulthood as a hyena, you might expect some kind of reward. Maybe a ceremony, a pat on the back, or even a congratulatory carcass. But no, adulthood is less like stepping into a heroic new chapter and more like being tossed into the deep end of a predator-filled pool. You're stronger now, sure, and a little smarter, but that just means the stakes are higher, the challenge is tougher, and the risks deadlier. Let's start with the basics. Food. As an adult hyena, you're expected to pull your weight in the clan. This means hunting, scavenging, or muscling in on a lion's kill if you're feeling brave. Or, let's be real, reckless. And don't believe those old myths about hyenas being mere scavengers. You're a top-tier predator, capable of taking down prey that outweighs you. But here's the catch. Every successful hunt comes with its own set of problems. Take too long to eat, and you risk attracting lions, leopards, or even rival hyena clans who would love to turn your hard-earned meal into their snack. Sharing is not optional, and by sharing, we mean watching everyone else dig in before you even get a taste. The clan hierarchy doesn't cut you any slack either. If you're a high-ranking female, congratulations. You get first dibs on food, the best sleeping spots, and a front-row seat to every major decision. But that privilege comes at a cost. You're constantly challenged by younger, ambitious females who want your spot. A single moment of weakness can topple your entire reign. And if you're a male? Let's just say you're not exactly living the dream. As an adult male, your position in the clan is precarious at best. You're tolerated, sure, but only as long as you know your place, which, more often than not, is at the bottom of the social ladder. For males who've left their birth clan, adulthood is an even lonelier road. You wander across vast territories, surviving on scraps and dodging predators, all while searching for a new clan that might take you in. The process is humiliating. You approach a new clan with your head low and your body language as submissive as possible, hoping they don't see you as a threat. If they accept you, great, you're in. But don't get too comfortable. You'll still spend most of your time skirting the edges, eating last, and keeping a low profile to avoid getting on anyone's bad side. And then there's the issue of reproduction. For high-ranking females, mating is a strategic decision. You'll pick the males you deem worthy, usually those who've proven themselves through persistence or sheer patience. For males, however, it's a waiting game. Most males in the clan won't get a chance to mate, and those who do often have to endure years of groveling and submission before the opportunity arises. Even then, there's no guarantee your genes will carry on. It's nature's ultimate reminder that nothing in life comes easy. Of course, the threats you face as an adult aren't limited to social politics and food shortages. The savannah is teeming with dangers, and as an adult hyena, you're expected to handle them head-on. Lions remain your biggest enemies, often attacking your clan just to assert dominance. A single lion can scatter an entire hyena clan if it catches them off guard. Then there are the leopards, quick and stealthy, who'll snatch an unwary cub faster than you can blink. And let's not forget the human factor. Poachers, farmers, and habitat destruction all pose growing threats to your survival. But even with all these challenges, there are moments of triumph. You and your clan become an unstoppable unit, working together to take down prey, fend off rivals, and raise the next generation. The bond between clan members is fierce, forged through countless battles and shared hardships. You learn to trust the whoops and calls of your clanmates, knowing that their survival is tied to yours. It's not a perfect system, but it works. Together, you face the dangers of the savannah with a determination that only comes from knowing how much you have to lose. As the years roll on, you start to feel the weight of adulthood. Your body, once strong and agile, begins to slow down. Scars from old battles ache with every step, and the energy you once had to chase prey or fight rivals starts to dwindle. You're not at your peak anymore, and the younger members of the clan can sense it. If you're a high-ranking female, this is when challengers become bolder, testing your strength and resolve at every turn. For males, it's a slow descent into irrelevance, as younger, stronger males take your place in the hierarchy. By the time you reach your twilight years, life has become a constant struggle to keep up. Every hunt feels harder, every fight more exhausting. The clan, once a source of strength and support, now feels like a reminder of how much you've lost. If you're lucky, the clan will still look after you, offering scraps of food and the occasional spot in the shade. But even this kindness has its limits. Nature is unforgiving, and in the wild, there's little room for those who can no longer contribute. Your final days are spent on the edges of the clan, watching the younger generation take over the roles you once held. The cubs you helped raise are now the hunters, the leaders, the protectors. It's a bittersweet moment, knowing that your time is over but that life will go on without you. As the sun sets on your final day, you find a quiet spot to rest, away from the noise and chaos of the clan. You've lived a life of struggle and triumph, of hardships and resilience, and while being a hyena was never easy, it was always worth it.